Okay, removing your engine and transmission from the bottom of the Jensen Healey. So let's go back to front. I'm just going to go over the major bolts. Okay, take off the drive shaft, which sits behind the transmission. You can either take it off at the transmission side or take it off at the diff side. We actually took it off on the diff. It's easier. There's 4 bolts, if you see, that hold it on either side. Okay, other thing, there's a cradle holding up the transmission. 4 bolts that go out through the car up to around the stick shift. Take off that cradle. Before you do, have a dolly under the transmission supporting it so nothing drops. Also, you're going to have to take off your gear shift knob because that's going to drop through, and the boot around it. And take off this nut that goes up into the car. I'll show you where that is. So here's where our stick shift is. This nut right there you have to take off, or you're gonna have a bad day. Another part that's on the transmission that we missed, this dampener or shock absorber or motor mount. It is up in the back of the engine bay in here and attached to the car. You can take that off before dropping the engine. Okay, now the subframe itself. We have 2 bolts here on top of your struts. Oh, there we go. They go up through here. Let's go show you this one. Through here and here. So unbolt those. There's also a plate in them. And then the only other place you need to unbolt, which probably isn't true, is right here. A big long bolt goes through that, connecting your subframe to the frame. So there's one on either side. Now you're still going to have to remove your wiring and your clutch cable and your speedometer cable and the oil pressure valve. I guess I can show you those. This is the oil pressure sending unit gauge. Hose goes from there to the back of your oil pressure gauge in the car. This is where your clutch wire cable eventually goes to. Somewhere on this side is where your speedometer cable goes. I don't remember where it was. Almost forgot the steering rod linkage. This goes from your steering wheel to the rack and pinion. You can do this from either side, either at the steering wheel side or the rack and pinion side. You'll see there's 1 nut and 1 bolt. When you get those out, then this shaft or this shaft, you can wiggle it out and then drop the... I wasn't able to pull it out all the way until we started dropping the engine, but then it came out easily. So anyway, that's how to remove the engine and transmission. Oh, guess there's going to be some edits. Then, once all that's removed, the transmission is supported. We took a engine hoist around the center bar on both sides and lifted the car slowly up off of the engine. You'll find all the other things you missed when you do that. Once we had it up far enough, we put it on jack stands and then rolled the whole assembly straight out the front of the car. And boom, your transmission is your engine and the subframe is then out. Okay, good day.